Thank you very much, Takeshi-san. Good afternoon. First and foremost, compliment and congratulations to the organizers, India Foundation and the Haryana State Government for this wonderful conference. And I'm really greatly honored to be here, not just for the conference, but to be part and parcel of this very august audience. Number two, I think a lot of the things I want to talk about has been preempted by the speeches of Minister Shanmugam and Coordinating Minister Viranto. So what I intend to do today very quickly, number three, the chairman is from Japan and he said do a bullet express train, so we have to rush, okay? So what I'm going to do is two things very briefly. First thing, in the light of yesterday and this morning's discussion, talk about certain universal dimensions of counterterrorism conference in general with regard to Southeast Asia and what does it mean. Number two, I'll look at a more granular dimension with regard to the region. I actually got only a few slides, but 3, 4. But I got two main ones which I want to share. So the first point, there's been a lot of talk about city. Now I think the most important thing which comes out in this conference and in general is how do we walk the talk? And I think it's something very similar with regard to the Southeast Asian region. This is a very old problem. Our problem predates Al-Qaeda, ISIS. We go back, just like India is a laboratory of counterterrorism and terrorism, ours too go back to the 40s. So yes, now there was this notion that my region is a novice. I think there's a lot to learn from each other, and especially the nexus between South and Southeast Asia. That's one. Number two, the phenomena is highly complex. If you are looking for a linearity as far as this is concerned, you're going to get it wrong. The process is complex, and this is going to take a long time. It's going to be generational. It is not yet, please. It's generational. So let's put a time frame. If you think it's going to be over in one terms of Modi government or one term of Djokovic's government, you're dreaming. It's not going to happen. So how do we condition strategies which are long term and which politicians are not really familiar with? Because they look at long term is 4 or 5 years. I think this is one of the problems. Number three, the causes are not simple. Just as it's difficult to define the elephant in a dark room, even though we know one exists, they are local, they are national, they are regional, they are international, and then there are cross currents between them. To understand this, not just the dimensions alone, but the cross currents, I think is so critical because at the end of the day, your solution, what is the medicine you are looking for? And to understand the medicine, you need to understand the disease. And it's not easy. It's very difficult. So while we are talking about the problem, I think we also should comprehend and appreciate the difficulties of this issue. It is not simply a guy putting a bomb and blowing himself up. No mother gives birth to a terrorist. He becomes one. So the process of understanding, the buy-in into this, and therefore the process of trying to overturn, especially after a guy has been surrendered, has been sent to jail. You think the problem is over? Forget it. It's a long-term problem. Because you may stop him from becoming a violent guy, but you're not going to stop him from becoming a radical. Because once the buy-in is there, it takes a very, very long time. There are other things involved. Number four, there's also the close nexus. I think came out very clearly here and in my part of the world between terrorism, narco, human trafficking, and so on and so forth, and hence the complexity. Number five, again, we heard yesterday, we're going to hear this morning, how technology has been a tremendous game changer. While agency radicalization, agency playing the role in terrorism is so important, the virtual world is as real as before, hence the need to policing this dimension of the world. And this is something new. The terrorists are out there long before we are there because of the virtual reality which exists. And today technology has been used by them at a premium and very cheaply. They are able to turn around people so fast that by the time we reach there, the game is over. So I think this is the dimension which we also need to understand. At the same time, while counterterrorism is critical, both hard and soft measures are important. We heard about this yesterday, last night from the actual practitioner. Eventually, I think it's clear, and that's why we are here. Look, friends, we need to collaborate. Look, we need to cooperate. Look, we need to collude. If these guys can have all of terrorist network working together, if these guys can come together and collaborate, that's why my question just now about Al-Shabaab, continental difference is no difference. Sorry, what the hell? Why can't we collaborate and cooperate? How come for us sovereignty and borders are so important? Why can't we have all of states program. This morning, the Chinese speaker was talking about United Front. Look, we need that because one, no one can take care of the problem alone. Two, the problem is extra-national. But look, the measures also need to be extra-national. And the reason why we've been fighting this for so long and we are still failing is because we just do not want to cooperate, cannot cooperate for a host of reasons. Until we don't get that, we will always be behind the curve as far as these guys are concerned. So let's stop talking and start doing something. I know it's easily said. We are scholars, we talk about it, but I think the practitioners need to up the ante too. Otherwise, we are going to keep reading about more bombs and more bombs and more bombs. I share a brilliant talk by Mr. Akbar yesterday. Shared peace and prosperity can only be achieved through shared threat. We need to buy into that. These guys are a threat. And at the same time, the shared measures are necessary to fight because we are fighting for a shared peace and security. Until we don't agree on that, 1,000 angels coming here and telling us about the threat of that and the threat of that, it's not going to make any difference. Because at the end of the day, we're going to go back to our little cocoon, and they are going to go back and blow us up. Then we have another conference organized by India Foundation. One more time, what happened? Come on. How many 100 conferences have we been through? Let's be honest. I lost count. Must be hundreds. So I think how to do that, I do not know. I do not know. You can cry. I do not know, but we need to do something. In a borderless and globalized world, the notion of good and bad terrorists is a misnomer. It's a mistake. It's an insult. Insult to humanity. So we need to speak with one voice because these are evil people. They are out to destroy the innocent. To destroy anyone is wrong. And yet, states use it as a tool. These guys are able to get away with it. And until we do not move away from that narrative that all of them are bad, as somebody said this morning, even if they are good for a short term, they're going to come and hound you tomorrow. They're going to come to hound you tomorrow and you're going to pay a price. Therefore, there's no such thing as one man terrorist, another man's patriot. One man's terrorist is an evil to mankind and full stop. If you don't accept that, then be prepared to mourn the loss. Now, lastly, finally, in today's context, I think Takashi-san said something, and I think it's very important with regard to my part of the world. I think it's also your part of the world. We need to be sensitive to what's happening around the environment because these things are real. As we are talking today, things are happening, especially the Middle East, the epicenter. IS fighters and Al-Qaeda fighters there. From my part of the world, Jabhat al-Nusra fighters. Now, they're going to come back. They've been pushed out. The West is doing a great job of pushing them out, but that's not the end of the problem. It's the beginning of a new problem. Just like the end of Mujahideen in Afghanistan started a new problem, which we are still grappling with nearly 30 years later. They're going to come back. Trained, fortified, connected, experienced. Beware of the next fight. It is going to be here, on your home front and on my front. Number two, they are the returnees. Bapa is going to talk about the returnees. And in my part of the world, many have come back. You know what is the most frightening thing? Many of them come back, we don't even know they have come back, and we don't even know they've been there. But that is the fear, the frightening thing about these guys. Number three, many are here. They did not go there. They were inspired by what happened. So the inspirees. And these guys want to become the wannabes. And they have been doing things all over the world, including in my part of the world. I'm sure including in your part of the world. And then there are many who are actually already here, pre-AQ, pre-IS, and they've been jumping ship from one group to the other. In the case of Indonesia, they've been around since the 40s. The Darul Islam, and it's the mother of almost all terrorist groups. They are here. So we are not talking of something way far away out in the moon, So what is going to happen to all this group, and what are we going to do about it? Now, the final thing before I go to my presentation, very short one, Al-Qaeda is not over. I'm sure you know that. And we are so fond of talking of the new flavor of the month, IS. But Al-Qaeda, they are waiting. They are around. They are active in my part of the world. They are active in your part of the world. The fear is, with ISIS down somewhat, don't forget, ISIS came from Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda came from the Mujahideen. Mujahideen came from somewhere. So these are the best learning organizations in the world. They are so adaptable. To them, the mission is what is most important. They are going to come back. They could come back alone. One is going to overtake the other. Or, as they are good at, they're going to metamorphosize and become a new monster. So are we prepared for the next fight? If we are sitting down here to prepare for the last fight, good luck to us. I think we should put our brains together and fight. What is the next fight all about? Now, finally, breaking news. Well, not so much breaking, but it's interesting. About 2 months ago, we thought the Amir of Philippines died, Hapilon. He have not died. 24 hours ago, there was a report that the Amir of Katiba Nusantara died. He has not died. 36 hours ago, there was an Indonesian suicide bomber in Syria. It shows that fight is so real. As we are talking, this issue is really going on. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, the complexity, the slide please. Oh, very quickly, 2 examples, one Myanmar and the next one Philippines. I mean, the problem in my part of the world, just like yours, is historical, is persistent, is complex, and there are nexus of different kinds. I think, I don't want to go into detail, we can have, if there's Q&A, that's the way it is. And there are so many groups. If you look at the Myanmar thing, you think it's so simple, it is not. Next one, this is even more complex. Look at the Philippine one, I'm sorry, it's too small. You know, had been going on there for literally 300 years. 300 years. And look at the kind of groups we have, and look at the nationalities we have. 15 nationalities fighting under one organization. Now, this is their power. This is their power. The Rohingyas are here. Africans are here. That's why I asked the question about Al-Shabaab. They are here. You know? So, the Uyghurs are here. So, at the end of the day, we are still concerned about borders. They live in a borderless world, my friends. So, what is our strategies and tactics all about? Next. So, observation for us in my part of the world, since I'm supposed to talk about Southeast Asia, it's a long problem. It's a historic problem. And we've been fighting them on different grounds. Many of the faults are governmental. What this morning we talked about governance is true. Then at the same time, the key threat is AQ and IS. Yes, accepted. And it's shifting, it's changing. Don't expect the paradigm to be permanent. It's non-permanent. It's a shifting paradigm. Let's understand that. And key areas of concerns, okay, fine, these are the one. We have 2 Amirs. 2 Amirs under IS. And I'm not talking about the AQ yet. Just IS, 2 already. It tells you the potency of what we have there. These statistics will be highlighted by Bapa. He is the expert. These both are actually practitioners. I'm the fraud here, you know. So when we look at the numbers, the number of deaths, I mean, Indonesia, in terms of people who are there, they have detained more than 1,100. More than 110 have been killed already. So the numbers are fascinating. The numbers are fascinating. And where do we go from here? I think if there are direct specific questions, maybe Bapa can reflect or talk about them. But the return is, even a developed country like mine can have at the moment too. It tells you something. How does someone from a developed country benefiting from everything can join ISIS? Similarly, we had people join Jamaah Islamiyah, Al-Qaeda. We had nearly 67 who were detained in my country. So this is a phenomenon which no one is immune from. It's not poverty, it's more than poverty. It's poverty plus. So comprehend that, and I think then we can move forward. Next, please. I think this conference is about CT. Yesterday, Pak Wiranto, my minister, talked about, at the end of the day, we need a combination, sure. The combination is what? We have a whole thing. My country operates from zero tolerance. No, the thought, if we can penetrate your mind, the very thought of having or joining one will get you. And we have no qualms about it. And I tell you, my society supports 100%. 100%. We have come from that environment. We have come from something here. We do not want to return to ground zero because this is a Chinese majority state operating in a Malay environment. We are not going to give a Chinese terrorist, an Indian terrorist, a Khalistani, or a Mujahideen fighter. You cannot breathe in my place. Full stop. And we operate from that principle. There's national consensus. And this government have used many things. Military people use, political people use, economic and international cooperation. 2 minutes. What we use the most. Yesterday, Mr. Shanmugam, he's not just Home Affairs Minister. He is also our Minister for Law. So we use the legal instrument to the max. We have hard and soft laws. Okay? And we can put people behind bars for 20 years if we need be. No qualm. If somebody is prepared to blow us up, I think that guy forfeits his bloody life. Simple, I know we made it inhuman and brutal. We are not prepared to start a cycle of violence and violence and non-violence. So the laws are very important to get these guys. But I think number 2, somebody was talking about earlier, the long-term aspect, the ideological buy-in. If someone tries to spread poison, what do you do? Oh, in the name of democracy, let's tolerate. No, come on. All you need, my dear friends, all you need at the end of the day is this. You just need one suicide bomber to become a game changer. Huh? One suicide bomber to become a game changer. One Muslim jihadi sits in an MRT train, crowded one in Singapore, and blows himself up and kills 100 people. Just imagine what's going to happen. We are not prepared to even think about it. So the laws are there to go and get them at the roots. So that imam, he's banned. But there are other things happening in my society at this moment because we believe in zero tolerance. At the end of the day, counter-terrorism, if you, 1 minute, sir, if you just depend on the government to take care, look, it's not going to be successful. You need a whole of society. You need a whole of government. But I think you need a whole of nation-state approach. So for ours, the focus is ASEAN. So we use laws like nobody's business to go after these guys. I think there's no more, but I'd like to end with something. What's the next one? There is one. Proactivity is important. At the same time, I think governments can talk about it, but if you don't put your money where your mouth is, you're not going to go anywhere. City operation is very expensive. Yeah, look, at all this is needed. At the same time, governments have a duty and responsibility to create an environment which is infertile. Underline that. Infertile for terrorism and radicalism. Otherwise, you're going to let all kinds of snakes breed in that area. Our job is to clear the swamp, not to fill the swamp with people like this. Now, final thing, okay, forget about security dilemma. My final thing is this. I'd like to leave you with a question. We talk a lot about radicalization, de-radicalization, counter-radicalization, rehabilitation. But have we ever asked ourselves one question? And the question is this. In any society, the people involved in this crime, in this evil deed, is 0.1, 0.2%. So we spend a lot of time talking about why radicalize, why counter-radicalize, and so on and so forth. Have we ever asked a question, why isn't the majority of us in our societies not radicalized, don't become terrorists? I think therein lies your answer into what to do as far as CTC is concerned. If you can answer why the multiple ultimate majority do not buy into this, I think we will go a long way into answering why this small minority do the buy-in and change their religion, because terrorism is a new religion. God bless you. Thank you very much.